Okay, so now 4 quarts of paint will cover about 175 square feet of wall. You go to Home Depot, my all-time favorite store. I could spend hours in there. And I look at all the tools, and then I'm like, what does this saw do? And I look at it. But yeah, I could go spend like 2 hours in there and not buy anything. And then they have a special on paint like once a year. 4 quarts of paint will cover 175 square feet of wall surface. How many quarts are needed to cover 200 square feet of hallway walls and 300 square feet of outside walls? So just think about the information that's important. All right, so give me a piece of information in the problem that sticks out to you. 175 square feet. And 4 quarts would be another thing. Okay, what else? 200 square feet and 300 square feet. So like what's the total square feet you have to cover?
500 square feet.
Okay, so that takes care of that and that. Remember I said that all you have to do is match up the units. So what's left is 4 quarts or 175 square feet. So like where do you want to put the 175 square feet?
500 square feet.
You could do it over the 500 square feet. All right, now where do we put the 4 quarts? Does it go top or bottom?
Bottom.
What does the 4 quarts match up with? How much does the 4? Somebody said it.
Right.
Put it with the 175, right? So 4 quarts will cover 175 square feet. You see how it matches up?
Yeah.
I know I've done it the right way because I've got quarts over quarts, square feet over square feet. So that's kind of how you deal with the word problems. 4 times 500. I can do that.
So to get 500, you just like add in 2,000.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
To get 500 feet, you just add in 200, 300?
Yes, correct. And then divide by 175. So I got 11.428. If you're following along with me, which is fantastic. Questions? Did I do it wrong?
Wait, you might have done the math on 1.4.
It makes sense, right? Because you're covering about almost 3 times as much. Like 175 times 3 is about 500. So you'd figure it's about 3 times as much as this. Okay. Going from decimal to a percent. 0.42 becomes 42%, right? So I did that by multiplying by 100.
I showed Sir the last time. He was pretty disturbed.
Another way you might want to think about it is you can actually just move the decimal place 2 places to the right. 1, 2, 42%. If you want to change a decimal to a percent, multiply by 100. If you want to go percent back to decimal, yeah, do the opposite, divide. All right, example, 42%. We'll go to 0.42. Because now I'm moving the decimal place to the left.
So whatever 0.
Example, write 25% as a decimal. I'll give you one more way to look at it. Well, it's always 25% out of 100%, right? So if I write 25% over 100%, and I just reduce that and then perform the division, that would be 0.25. It's the third way to look at it.
And how about 0.25 in the computer will you take it to?
If the question asks you write 0.25 as a percent, you have to write 25. Is that kind of what you mean? Yeah.
So anytime that you want to change it to a decimal, it just moves 2 over?
Yeah, that's it. Easy way to remember it. Okay, it's sort of strange things that I think about. It's also a true story. Last year, Bitcoin was worth $700. Later, its price increased 350%. It actually did a lot more than that. It's at about 10,000. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Depends on whether or not you buy into it.
My friend lost so much money to cryptocurrency. So much.
What is going on if you're using a refactoring in the FedEx in a year later? A refactor in the fact that it has been a year later and you moved over to adjust its value.
We don't really need to worry about the time. It's tricky because it's 350%, right? So it's always kind of think of it as is over of, percent over 100%. You would have to figure that it's much higher than 700 because it's increasing by 350%. So where does the 350 go? On top, yeah. Where does the $700 go?
Yes.
All right, so $700 is where it starts, right? So is that the original total or what you're going to find? It's the original total. So that has to go on the bottom. Because we don't know what 350% is. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know what that is. Hopefully I did it right. 7 times 350. No. Oh, I totally did that math wrong, right? That's what I get. Hold on. 350 times 700, right? 2, 4, 5, 0, 0, 0 equals 100x. Don't be afraid to get really big numbers. Okay? A couple of the word problems. Percents can also be written as fractions by making the denominator equal to 100. Same example, 0.42 is the same thing as 42%, which is the same thing as 42 over 100. Write 355% as a fraction or mixed number in lowest terms. What will my denominator be?
That one?
100. Over 100. $355 divided by 5.
3.5. And 7 over 2.
71 over 20. I don't think it goes further than that, so let's write it as a mixed fraction. Let's see, 3 times 60. 71 minus 60 is 11. So 3 and 11 over 20. I think that on the last test you didn't have to enter in a mixed number. You could just put 71 over 20. Am I right? Yeah. So if it just says write a fraction, you can write 71 over 20. It'll say mixed fraction, right, as a mixed fraction. Oh, I think they give you tables. So like multi-step question, you have to turn 5/4 into a decimal and then into a percent.
So 5/4 here would just divide 5 by 4, right?
Let's just divide. 5 divided by 4. 1.25, that's my decimal answer. So perform division. And then, I don't know how you want to think of it. Move the decimal point or multiply by 100. 125%. Take about 1 minute and try the next one. Okay, hopefully for the percent you came up with 1,250%.
Yes.
All right, now changing it to a fraction. I can put this as 12.5 over 1. But if I move the decimal place over on the top and bottom, I can write it as 125 over 10. And then reduce it.
25 over 2. I think. Well, I think that is about the same decimal.
Okay, kind of takes you back to how to go from decimal.
So you wouldn't put that as 12 and 1/2?
Yes, you could. If it asks for a mixed fraction. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
It all depends on what the computer's asking for, I suppose. Thank you. Other questions? Find the percent shaded and percent unshaded. I don't know how you want to think of it, but I'll write it as a fraction first. And so there are 3 boxes out of a total of 5. And that leaves 2 boxes out of a total of 5 that are unshaded. But now, in order to change that into a percent, I will divide it. 3 divided by 5 is 0.6, and that's going to become 60%.
60%?
The other one, if it's out of 100%, then 100 minus 60 would be 40%, or you can do the same process.
You just put the number shaded over the next one.
All right, there's 5 boxes that are shaded. That's going to give me 0.625, which is the same thing as 62.5%. And then 3 out of 8 would be 0.375. Okay. If it asks for a percent, make sure you answer it as 62.5% and not 0.625. All right, the good news is we've already done this because this is the percent proportion. But I am switching the order on you.
So we're finding like X is on top, right?
What percent of 142 is 75? So where's the 142 going to go, top or bottom? The bottom, because it says of 142. Just be careful how you word it. Looks like somewhere around 50%. We're half as much. I got 0.528.
Okay, why are you putting 4.528?
Where? 0.528, which is equal to 52.8%.
Is that what we're gonna need to do?
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Of the customers who buy coffee at the college Starbucks, 28% prefer skim milk. If the total number of customers in a week was 232, find the number of customers who prefer skim.
Is that right? This one over here.
Not quite. Change one thing. That side's right. Yes. Anybody want to set it up? Feel like they have it.
Are we rounding up?
Oh, I just want you to set it up. Set up the proportion. Did you do it? What'd you put?
So I put, oh, actually, hold on, wait, let me actually write it out, so I don't just do it in my head. So it would be X over 28, and then equals
All right, let's write it another way.
Oh, no, that is okay. That works. No?
It should work.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not the is over of type of thing, but it actually will work. Because you've got percent and percent matched up, and then 232 is also the total, right? So it should match up. Yeah. Did anybody do it another way? Like is over of type of? Who would like to share? Nobody?
I'm sorry, what?
Like sharing is caring?
I did x over 232 equals 28 over 100.
Yeah, same.
Okay. Thank you. Both of them will work because when you cross multiply, you'll still get 28 times 232.
Should be 64.96, right?
Yep. It's not a percentage. So like if you actually had the question, you can't have like 0.96 worth of a person. So you have to say maybe 70 people or 65 people. I think one more slide, okay? Anybody else for this?
I think I went wrong somewhere. Look at this. I don't know, whatever. I reduced this by 4, please. Got that.
That's fine.
And
So what's 7 times 232?
that's how it's, oh. That's right.
I think I'm going to skip over that. We did some of those. All right. An Apple store makes 1,250 sales in a month. How many are for MacBook Pros? You're going to get a chart question. It's going to be super easy. All you got to do is read the percentage. The answer is 9%. Like literally, you just answer 9% in the question. All you have to do is read it. Okay, so they're really specific and say what percent. So the answer would be 9%, okay? We'll stop right there.